Since most people stumble after no contact, have you ever thought about what happens when the quiet ends and what to do next? Silence is often more powerful than words. The truth is that the no-contact phase was only the beginning. Now is the real game, and your next moves have the power to either solidify everything you've worked for or undo it completely. In this video, we'll explore how to make calculated, unexpected moves that speak volumes without overtly trying, leaving her both curious and captivated. Now that the spotlight is on you and every decision you make matters more than ever, buckle up, because this is where the power shifts in your favor. Let's start by improving ourselves. Improve yourself. The first thing you should do after losing contact is something she won't expect. During this period, she transformed into the person she never imagined she would be. Concentrate on your own development. As a commitment to yourself rather than a tactic to win her back, start your fitness regimen with newfound vigor. Acquire a talent you've always wanted to master, or rekindle a passion that once brought you joy but has been accumulating dust. Becoming someone you respect and appreciate is the goal, not impressing her. Here, Stoicism provides deep knowledge by reminding us to concentrate on the things we can control, such as our thoughts, behaviors, and decisions. When you control your development, you're not waiting for her approval or anyone else's validation. Instead, your transformation is your own. Let's say that there was no contact before. Envision a tranquil, unwavering current coursing through your existence, unaffected by external occurrences or emotions beyond your control. You used to gripe about not having enough time to work out, but now you've taken those words to heart. Your discipline and body are strengthened by regular gym visits. Maybe you've started reading books that make you think differently, or you've taken up a hobby like cooking, playing an instrument, or photography. These small changes accumulate to a point where, when she sees you again, she won't recognize you because you've transformed into someone who thrives on her own, not because you've changed superficially. This subtle change is what Stoics refer to as the ultimate form of power, self-mastery. You're focusing your energies on creating a life rather than responding to the loss or the stillness. The strength and calm that emanate from you when you no longer need her to feel whole is the kind of energy that makes people stop and take notice. Not because you're trying to get their attention, but because you've evolved into something unique. Someone who is genuinely in control of themselves, number two. That's a meaningful and fulfilling move that she won't expect. Keep her guessing. Let me explain things to you. The easiest way to squander the advantage you've gained with no contact is to keep her guessing. Even though it may be tempting to share all your activities with her, resist the urge to do so if she tries to reach out to you. Maintain a little mystery. There's something alluring about someone who doesn't reveal too much and who says just enough to pique interest. Self-control, according to the Stoics, is a sign of strength. Marcus Aurelius frequently taught us that true power comes from controlling our impulses. In this situation, you might be tempted to justify yourself by emphasizing your accomplishments or growth, but genuine confidence is what counts. Real change is something she should sense without you saying a word. For instance, she might text you, "Hey, how are you?" rather than telling her everything about your new project, your recent workout routine, or your recent hangouts with friends. You keep it light, saying, "I've been good, staying focused on a few things. What about you?" without going into too much detail or giving her a glimpse into your every move. She will begin to wonder what he has been up to and what makes him different. Curiosity has tremendous power. It's like a spark that reignites the intrigue she once felt about you. If you've truly been working on yourself during the no-contact period, your actions and demeanor will naturally reflect that. You won't need to brag about it or seek her validation. Your growth will speak for itself. Remember, Mystery doesn't mean playing games or being deceptive. It's about valuing your own story enough to share it on your terms, not all at once, and not because you're trying to impress her. When she starts to sense the quiet confidence you've built, she won't know what to expect next. And that unpredictability is what keeps things interesting. So take a step back and trust in the work you've done. Don't be so eager to explain yourself, as the Stoics might put it. Your silence and restraint are a reflection of your inner power. Leave her wondering and let that curiosity draw her closer to you now. Pause for a moment and think about this. How often do you feel the need to explain yourself to someone else in order to prove your worth or accomplishments? Reflect on whether those moments stem from genuine confidence or a need for validation. Sometimes less really is more, and in this case a little restraint can go a long way. What do you think of this? How do you personally exercise self-control? Please leave a comment with your opinions, or just type, "The most powerful move isn't about what you say, but about who you are when you show up." You don't need memorized lines or extravagant gestures to make an impression. The most unexpected and powerful thing you can do is to let your energy speak for itself. Imagine a scenario where she anticipates uncertainty or even desperation, only to encounter a calm, collected and centered individual. That's the unexpected turn of events she didn't anticipate. Let's continue on this journey together. Number 3. Walk in with quiet confidence. True confidence doesn't scream for attention, it's in the quiet. Assurance of your presence is the way you hold yourself, the way you listen without rushing to speak, and the way you seem completely at ease with whatever unfolds. This is where Stoicism comes in. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves internally, to find strength within rather than seeking it from the approval of others. When you approach her after no contact, embody that strength. Be the unshakable version of yourself. You are someone who maintains emotional control and exudes. Imagine a scenario where she might anticipate awkwardness or a flurry of emotions upon seeing you again. Instead, she encounters a different, stronger, more grounded and completely at peace version of you. You don't need to prove anything or win her over with words. Your magnetic presence shifts the dynamic in a way she won't anticipate. Expect. Let me give you an example. Say you're meeting her at a coffee shop or running into her at an event. Instead of diving into an intense conversation or trying to steer the interaction, let it flow naturally. Be present, maintain steady eye contact, and truly listen when she speaks. When you do respond, keep it simple but thoughtful. There's no need to explain your silence or justify your past actions. Your calm, confident demeanor already says everything she needs to hear. It conveys that you've grown, that you're someone who can hold their own even in challenging situations. This is how Stoicism plays a role in relationships. It's about showing that you're not defined by external circumstances. Whether she's warm, distant, or unsure, it doesn't affect your internal peace, and trust me, that level of self-assuredness is something she won't expect, but it's exactly what will leave a lasting impression. So when the time comes, don't worry about the perfect words or making some grand statement. Just be there as your best, calmest, and most grounded self. That's the move that makes her pause, makes her wonder, and ultimately makes her see you in a whole new light. Number 4, talk less. Say, when you do speak to her again, don't let it be just another ordinary discussion. Instead, talk less and say more. When you speak, take advantage of the crucial time you've spent apart to demonstrate your growth, reflection, and development of a deeper sense of self. Make it matter. Avoid engaging in cliched conversations or making overly sentimental requests. Instead, concentrate on having meaningful, purposeful conversations that bring up topics that reflect the depth of your thoughts and the lessons you've learned. For instance, instead of saying something generic like, "I've missed you," consider sharing something more thoughtful during our time apart. These things frequently come across as desperate or ungrounded, and they don't convey the kind of change that sparks genuine interest. Since the Stoics taught us that words have great power and should never be wasted, I've been working on improving my ability to communicate clearly. Let your words be clear and simple, according to Marcus Aurelius. No need to be robotic or aloof. Your words should have impact. If you're re-establishing contact, communicate purposefully so she knows you're not merely talking to fill the void. Show her through your words and deeds that you've used this time apart to grow and better yourself. Imagine that you've been silent for weeks or even longer, and when you finally reach out and your words come across as confident, calm and grounded, it's a move she won't expect. It's not about trying to impress her with fancy words or overly emotional gestures. Rather, it's about showing that you've spent time with yourself and that you've developed a stronger sense of who you are and what you stand for. This is where the element of surprise lies, not in being ostentatious or silent forever. She might have expected you to either beg for her attention or remain silent forever, but instead you present a version of yourself that is calm, composed, and thoughtful. A version of you she won't forget. Consider how changing your approach could alter the dynamic in your relationships. If this idea appeals to you, please leave a comment below with your thoughts or just type. What do you think about this approach? What kind of impact do your words have when you speak? Are they intentional and meaningful, or do they occasionally fill the silence without purpose? I pick my words carefully. Let's establish an environment where we can all develop and learn from one another. Number 5. Surprise her with kindness. Be kind to her as a surprise. When someone withdraws, most people tend to react with anger, indifference, or more games, but your uniqueness will set you apart. Kindness is one of the most powerful and unexpected things you can do after a period of no contact. The important thing is that your acts of kindness should be genuine reflections of your character and the self-respect you've developed over this time apart, rather than feeling like a tactic to get her back. After weeks of silence, picture this. You take a small, considerate step when she mentions a problem she's having or something significant in her life, rather than dismissing it or making it about you. Perhaps you send her a brief message congratulating her on a job well done, or leave a supportive comment on something that holds meaning for her. It's not intrusive, it's not begging, it's just you showing that you've developed into someone who values integrity over petty games. As Seneca wisely put it, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Since it's uncommon in a society where people frequently react emotionally or try to prove a point, genuine kindness is a shock to the system and leaves a lasting impression because it says, "I'm secure in myself, and I don't need to prove anything." It's a quiet strength that shows that you're above the need to manipulate or play games. Kindness doesn't mean weakness, lowering yourself, or chasing after someone who might not deserve your attention. Here's an illustration. If her birthday fell within the no-contact period, most people would overlook it because they believe it would make them appear desperate. However, what if you sent her a brief note a week later? "I just remembered that I missed your birthday. I hope your birthday was wonderful. You deserve it to be nice, kind and free from any expectation of a response. You're just letting her know who you are." Stoicism teaches us to concentrate on the things we can control, such as our actions, emotions, and how we present ourselves to the outside world. Your choice to lead with kindness isn't about how she might respond. Rather, it's about upholding the values you've developed and demonstrating to yourself, not to her, that you're someone who acts with integrity and calm strength. Your decision may surprise her, perhaps evoking a wave of curiosity or even admiration because you've chosen a path that most people wouldn't take. But the beauty lies in the fact that whether or not she reaches out or draws to you again, you've already won. You've preserved your dignity, protected your peace, and demonstrated to the world and to yourself that you're someone worth knowing. The sixth game made it obvious: make clear limitations, limits. In any relationship, boundaries are important, but when you re-engage after a break, it's also about your energy. Show her that you truly care about her and that you also deeply respect yourself. This isn't about being cold or distant, rather it's about exhibiting a sense of self-worth that demands respect. How can you expect others to appreciate you if you don't respect yourself enough to set boundaries? A Stoic guy profoundly understands this. His values, such as maintaining his peace of mind, guide him, not the need to prove himself or the fear of losing someone. Saying no when it's required is a sign of self-preservation and clarity, not of rejection. Consider this. She reaches out after a long period of silence, possibly to see if you'll drop everything for her, but instead of reverting to your old habits, you respond differently. Perhaps she suggests something that doesn't fit with your priorities or values, and instead of going out of your way to accommodate her, you politely but firmly decline. You're not rude, you're cool, collected, and unflinching. That's the move she won't expect. She'll notice the change in your demeanor and find it intriguing because it's a new side of you. Stoicism says that while we can't control others' actions, we can manage our own by setting boundaries of non-influence. When she realizes that your boundaries are based on strength rather than stubbornness, she will notice the difference. Instead of being distant, be decisive, and trust me, quiet confidence is more powerful than any grand gesture. So, when the time comes, remember that these boundaries aren't walls to keep her out. Rather, they're the foundation of a healthy, balanced connection, and when you approach it with the calm wisdom of a Stoic, she won't just see it, she will feel it. If you've come this far, take a moment to think about how boundaries are a form of self-respect and clarity rather than confrontation or distance. Consider how this applies to your own life and relationships. Are you setting boundaries that respect your values and safeguard your peace of mind? We would be delighted to hear your opinions. Number 7. Take it slow, and let's talk about something most important. Share how you handle boundaries or what stood out from this section. If you're at a loss for words, just write, "I honor myself by setting healthy boundaries." Let this serve as a reminder that self-respect is the cornerstone of meaningful connections. This isn't about speed, it's about strategy. If you want to make a real difference, the move she won't expect is patience. People make mistakes after a period of no contact, and there's a temptation to jump back in and fix things right away, or to pick up where you left off without giving it any thought. Remind yourself of what the Stoics tell us by taking time to relax and allowing things to happen organically. Avoid the temptation to bombard her with messages or to make a grand gesture. Haste leads to failure. Better results are the result of deliberate action and measured steps. Imagine a sculptor who takes their time creating a masterpiece. You should approach this by chiseling away big chunks and refining them gradually and purposefully. If a loved one suddenly reaches out, most people would automatically respond and express their feelings. But instead, take a moment to consider how you feel, what you want to say, and the message your actions will send. When you respond calmly and composedly, it conveys strength and self-control, which naturally attracts people. She will notice that your calm demeanor contrasts with the impulsiveness she might be expecting, and trust me, that's far more intriguing than desperation or eagerness. This is where Stoicism comes in again. Remember that patience is an active choice to prioritize the long term over the short term. By displaying patience, you show her your lack of force and your confidence in allowing things to unfold naturally. She won't anticipate it, and that's what will make you stand out. Keep in mind that you're not in a race, and the best things, like the best relationships, don't come from hurrying. 8th place, allow your life to give up your life speak after a period of no communication. You don't reach out with grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Instead, you let your life speak for itself. Imagine her scrolling through her feed or hearing through the grapevine that you're doing well, not because you told her, but because your actions make it undeniable. This is the surprise move she won't expect, and your strongest. When you focus on building a fulfilling and exciting life, you naturally radiate a kind of energy that people find irresistible. It's not about trying to prove anything to her or anyone else. Rather, it's about living with purpose. Actions, as they say, speak louder than words, so when she sees you thriving, hitting the gym, doing well at work, pursuing hobbies you're passionate about, that's when she starts to notice. Not because you told her you're thriving, but because you're genuinely living it. The concept suggests that your daily accomplishments hold greater significance than your outward appearance or the approval of others. According to Marcus Aurelius, stop wasting time debating what a decent man ought to be and focus instead on your own development. Deeds, not words, demonstrate virtue, so let your progress speak for you. For instance, rather than texting her to tell her, "Look at all I'm accomplishing," let her notice on her own. Perhaps a mutual friend mentions your recent success in passing, or she finds a picture of you with friends, looking content and confident. This tactic is subtle but profoundly powerful. It's a move that demonstrates strength and self-respect by thriving in silence. You seem to be living life and not just waiting for her, which is appealing. Surprisingly, most people react impulsively, seeking approval or using words to win someone back. But you've chosen the Stoic path, grounded in deliberateness and focused on your own growth. Let your actions speak for you, and let your life demonstrate to her that you're doing just fine without her. You won't have to beg or pursue her to return. Your energy, progress, and confidence will. In number 9, I drew her. Remain composed under any circumstances. She may be emotionally distant or even appear indifferent after a period of no contact. It's normal to wonder what's going through her head or to feel tempted to act impulsively, but the point of this moment isn't to try to predict every move she makes or to overanalyze her behavior. This is your opportunity to exhibit poise, a grounded, steady demeanor that communicates effectively without requiring much verbal expression. Let's take a cue from the Stoics, who taught us the value of concentrating only on what we can control. Marcus Aurelius, for example, reminded himself every day that he couldn't control how others behaved, only how he responded. The same principle applies here. Whether she responds warmly, coldly, or somewhere in between, her response is completely out of your control. It's her story to write, but your composure, your ability to stand firm, and not let your emotions dictate your actions, that's your story, and you are the author of it. For instance, if she greets you with indifference, perhaps even acting as if the time apart didn't affect her at all, that's okay, rather than allowing frustration or doubt to creep in. Bring out your inner philosopher and remind yourself that her feelings are a reflection of her own journey rather than your worth. Respond with grace, maybe with a small smile or a thoughtful question about how she's been. Show her that you've matured during this time apart, that you've developed patience, self-control, and an unwavering sense of inner peace. Conversely, avoid becoming overwhelmed by her emotional or confrontational behavior. Imagine yourself as a rock in the sea, unaffected by the waves crashing around you. Listen calmly, acknowledge her feelings if necessary, but keep your composure. This isn't about dismissing her feelings. Rather, it's about showing her that you're not here to respond to every whim. You're here to communicate from a place of strength and self-awareness. This move, this ability to stay grounded when she expects you to waver, is what she won't expect. Most individuals tend to react and allow their emotions to dictate their actions, but you operate under a distinct set of rules. Whatever her reaction, keep in mind that you are in control of your response, her feelings, and your ability to maintain your composure. This calm, confident energy, guided by the wisdom of the Stoics and your own sense of self-respect, is magnetic and shows her without words that you've done the work and that you're not the same person she may have previously distanced herself from. Believe me, those are yours to protect when under pressure. Number 10. There is nothing more surprising or potent than a man who can remain composed under pressure. Continue to move. Continue moving forward. And now allow me to share with you the one thing she won't see coming. Putting yourself first in a way that isn't about playing games, but about embracing your own journey. Imagine this while she might be waiting for you to return with a call, text, or other significant gesture. She doesn't realize how dedicated you are to your personal development. Your life has its own flow, and you're not stopping it for anyone. This is where Stoicism provides us some timeless insight. Your purpose and your peace of mind are not about ignoring her or acting indifferent. According to Marcus Aurelius, you control your thoughts, not external circumstances. You will find strength in this situation if you recognize it. Your thinking serves as your compass. Rather than allowing her deeds or inactions to guide you, you stay on course. This is about living with a strong feeling of self-respect and purpose, not about being cold or aloof. As an example, suppose you've been working on yourself for weeks, going to the gym, concentrating on your business, and rediscovering hobbies you forgot you enjoyed. She might think you're doing all of this to win her back, but here's the catch. When she contacts you or sees you again, the person she meets won't be the one she left behind. Instead, she will find someone who is pleased and content with or without her. This is significant since it's unexpected. When your actions originate from a place of genuine self-growth, it's not about proving anything to her. Instead, it's about demonstrating to yourself that you're enough, just as you are, with calm confidence. Most people tend to rush back or make obvious attempts to establish their worth after no contact. Your journey will captivate the right people, no doubt. You'll know it's okay if they choose to walk with you or separate from you because, as Epicus once said, it's important to make the most of what you can and let the rest unfold naturally. The ultimate move isn't a grandiose show of affection or a complex scheme to win her over. Rather, it's something much simpler and more profound, choosing to live your life fully, authentically, and unapologetically. You have already achieved success by becoming someone you are proud of, regardless of whether she returns. Trust me, this is the unexpected move she will not anticipate. You control your daily self-presence. The rest is out of your control. Conclusion. All of the information we have covered ultimately comes down to one fundamental truth. The most effective thing you can do after losing touch is to focus on your own personal development and change yourself rather than trying to impress her. Developing self-respect and maintaining your composure in the face of adversity can help you become a more captivating and appealing version of yourself. This was just the start. Making contact was never the goal. What comes next is totally up to you. Approach each step with patience, purpose, and the quiet assurance of someone who understands their value. Allow your actions to carry more weight than your words and reaffirm your poise. Whether she returns or not, the story and your development have a lasting effect. The true victory is finding inner peace. Now, I'd love to know what you think. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and share it with someone who might benefit from this advice. Before you leave, check out the suggested videos on the screen. They are full of insightful content that will help you navigate your relationships and personal growth even more. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, keep being your best self. Let's start a conversation.